Now, Ibrahim Traoré has sent food to the people of Dapaga, generally, not just the less privileged or the privileged, to the people of Dapaga. Look at the food that has just been sent to the people of Dapaga. Let's watch this video.
Ouais, le convoi de ravitaillement est enfin arrivé à Din, plus précisément. Félicitations au FDS et VDP. Nous les remercions. Grâce à leur effort, ils sont bien arrivés. Merci. Et la paix revient au Faso. Eh, le maman, tengok dulu kak. Kata. Ada apa? Jadi kak. Encik. Le maman. En moi c'est matin on fait. Dis.
So now you see a president that is developing the country, getting equipment, a lot of infrastructural development, road construction, employment is going up in Burkina Faso by the day. Remember, Captain Ibrahim Traoré told the citizens of Burkina Faso that the more you create jobs in Africa, the more there is going to be unemployment in the European countries, most especially the imperial European countries. Because if you remember from time memorial, what they do is to get the raw materials from Africa, finish it over there, and sell it almost 3 times the price back to Africa, like the deal between Niger and France. Okay, we've been hearing rumors even recently that Orano is lamenting that Somé is in a state of total bankruptcy, that even they are owing some of the workers that they are going to be laying off. A lot of news that are circulating now is telling us that France is at the verge of economic meltdown. But I think France should be the fourth largest gold reserve. So what happened to those reserves that they have stolen from Africa? Absolutely. Because I don't think France in any world can amass that amount of gold, okay, without the blood, sweat, and tears of the Africans, which I think majority of that gold was stolen from Mali. That is why I think Mali is involved in a lot of insurgents conflict right now, because I think majority of the gold that is lying in the coffers of France right now, I think majority of that gold was stolen from Mali. Meanwhile, I think Burkina Faso and Niger are also a big contributing factor to the development of France. Like the former finance minister of France said, that if France lets go of this AES states, migration will transverse position, and the children of these French citizens will come to Africa to seek for greener pastures. I think that is what it has always been. I remember when I was growing up, we used to see white people walk in Nigeria. They came to Nigeria to work. That was when a naira was equivalent to a dollar. But how did we move from that time to now, where a dollar is now 1,500 naira? But anyway, that is the end product you get when you have a puppet president in charge. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, under his governance, Burkina Faso has kickstarted a project that is about to start in weeks officially. But they've already signed the deal, it has been agreed. This particular deal I'm telling you about is fully funded by the Burkinabes within the country and the Burkinabes in diaspora. So that is why I want all of us to have this ideology of oneness and unity. Listen up. I can tell you that the Burkinabes within would not have been able to achieve it without the support of the Burkinabes in diaspora. Okay? Again, I'll tell you this. Android community cannot succeed only from within. No. Android community is a big community because majority of the Android community support is coming from a diaspora. I have to admit that right now. In fact, about 70% of the audience in this community is from the United States, followed by UK, followed by Canada. When I look at the audience, sometimes I just be like, wow. Now we still get a lot of support from within, but the sense of unity is the first thing. And I want the people in diaspora to always understand that their support is always sometimes very significant when it comes to fighting for one cause, development, and a lot of other things like that. Okay, so this project is financed 100% by Burkinabes. Okay, now this project is the construction of one of the largest solar plants in the entire sub-region, and is going to cover about 270 acres of land in the south central part of Burkina Faso. Imagine 270 acres of land for the construction of a solar plant. I think that solar plant should be capable of, producing electricity for the entire Burkina Faso. Just my own opinion. It might not be that powerful, but it should be able to do something significant. And this project is supposed to last 2 years from onset to completion of the project. Is going to last 2 years. Okay. And according to what we heard, this solar plant is going to be engineered, right, by the Burkinabes. Okay. This is the real identity of Africa. This is the real Africanism, not just the real Pan Africanism, but the real African identity we are trying to preach. You understand? Africa for Africa. Imagine you hear about the projects in the United States done by Africans. Where's that coming from? You will see that United States projects are being done by the people in United States. The Russian projects are being done by the Russians. Chinese by the Chinese. So the question is, when is Africa going to start overseeing their own project by themselves? So now Ibrahim Traoré is making sure that this grassroots developmental process are being done by the citizens of Burkina Faso. Okay? Because they have engineers, right? So when you hear that Ibrahim Traoré is collaborating with Russia, collaborating with China, those guys are going to be passing on the knowledge to the indigenous people of Burkina Faso. Now, those guys are going to be responsible for the maintenance agreement. So if there's any other thing, the Burkinabes will not have to run out of the country to go and call them. And this same thing is going on in Mali and in Niger. Okay? Now we have another thing. Look at the recent stadium that Burkina Faso just built. we've heard about, the Chinese building a 30,000 capacity free stadium for Chad. Okay. But Burkina Faso, what they did, to be honest with you, if anybody showed me this video without somebody being in the picture, right? Actually talking in real time, I will actually think that video is AI. It's how clean and demure that stadium looks. Very, very beautiful stadium. Okay. So I have said that I am going to start watching African football. Okay. If Africans can start playing their own football within and have a continental league, not just Burkina Faso league, not just Nigerian league. Like we all are supposed to have one league. Yes, we're supposed to have one league, and we all will be proud to watch our teams, watch ourselves on the TV and all of that. So just you can just see how beautiful that stadium looks. Abi, everything is happening under the governance of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. So that means good governance cannot be overemphasized. I know some people still come to this channel and they still try to defend some incompetent government. Okay, I can't blame you. Okay, I'm not in the right position to judge. Okay, but just look at what is going on in the Sahel and compare it to what is going on in my country or your country. You can't equate the pace. You can't. Some countries have developed, but what are the new things going on? We are seeing development by the day in Burkina Faso. Okay, they've constructed road. What next? There is always something to be done. That is what I've learned from the government of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. There is always something else to be done. It's always in the detail. When you think it has just been completed, there is one or two details that you find the Burkinabes trying to fine tune. This is incredulous, okay? I can't say anything lesser than that. And now I know a lot of you have seen this ultra modern hospital that has just been renovated. Before the renovation of the hospital, there were some things that were not there. Okay, you've heard before when Captain Ibrahim Traore said there are even some hospitals in Burkina Faso that doesn't have the magnetic resonance imaging machine, that doesn't have the computerized tomography. And this hospital before now, they were carrying out varieties of, surgeries and all of that. And at that time, there was an increase in mortality, avoidable deaths. But under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, we've seen a lot of development in the medical infrastructure. Now, you hardly can find a hospital in Burkina Faso presently that doesn't have at least an ultrasound machine. At least. But according to what we heard before, even in some general hospitals in Burkina Faso, they don't even have ultrasound machine. I'm talking about the 4D sonocubic. I'm talking about, big ultrasound machine. I'm not just talking about the smaller ultrasound machine here. But now, Burkina Faso has now reached a level where the computerized tomography and the CT. The funny thing about it is that there was a woman that actually posted a picture of some of this investigation she went to, carry out in Burkina Faso. And if you look at the price, The price reduction in Burkina Faso, it was actually ridiculous compared to the amounts the investigation is being done in places like Nigeria or something. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is really, really making life very, very easy for his citizen. According to one of the things he said, when I look at this man is not just, look, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is God sent, it's heaven sent. That dude is not a regular human being, to be honest with you, right? When you look at the loan sector, it told the people that lend out loans to people that, look, this enormous interest that you try to place on your loans while you're trying to finance, this small scale business to large. He said, look, listen, make these loans available to everyone. He told them, and reduce to the barest minimum the amount of interest you will get from people, because he said all this interest and everything, it doesn't bring prosperity. He said that is not the will of God. His plan, to be honest with you, the plan of this man is to make life so easy for everybody in Burkina Faso. I think if he has the opportunity, what that man is capable of doing with Africa. In fact, recently, there is a particular monetary organization in Africa that they were trying to select Captain Ibrahim Traoré to oversee the affairs of this monetary organization. The only person that has stood against him, you know, taking leadership for that monetary organization is Alassane Ouattara of Ivory Coast. And you can see that's why, even the United States, that's supposed to be an ally to Alassane Ouattara, have declared on so many levels that Algeria and Ivory Coast is a pro-terrorist country. We've seen so many pictures of, Alassane Ouattara collaborating with saboteurs, collaborating with a lot of criminals. But ladies and gentlemen, look, that is just it. Burkina Faso is making development look like matter of fact. I can tell you that by this time tomorrow, we are equally going to have new information about something new that has happened again in Burkina Faso. I have lost count of the numbers of infrastructures that Burkina Faso have developed. I have lost count for the amount of road pavement that is going on in Burkina Faso. And you talk about Mali, the same thing. In fact, recently France is beginning to make a whole new allegation about Mali. And even the pro-French terrorist organization are beginning to speak about Mali in a different tone. In the next video, we'll be addressing that. So ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy 7200 signing out. Enough said, but before I go,